Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. I am Farhan, and Group 7 will be presentation in this morning. For the first, I respect to our Rector of Accounting Information System, Miss Zuesti, and we are Group 7 will be present about general control and application control. Before of all, I will introduce about myself and my team. My name is Farhan Ferdiansyah as a moderator and presentator. And the other presentator in my team is Muhammad Ihsan Zamani, Desti Nur Nanda, dan Nandia Zamira. Okay, for the first material will be present by Nandia.
Okay, first one is control classification. Control is the process of monitoring activities to ensure that they are complete as planned and the process of correcting any significant deviations. According to IAI and COSO, control consists of general control and application control. The general control objective is to ensure the integrity of the data contained in computer system and at the same time ensure the integrity of the program or application used to process data. Meanwhile, the purpose of application control is intended to ensure that data is input correctly into the application, processed correctly, and there is adequate control over the resulting output. Next is general control. General control can be defined as a policy and procedure related to information system applications and supports the function of application control by helping to ensure the continuity of existing information systems. This control is needed to provide assurance that application control is running properly as it should, which depends on computer resources. According to IAI, general control includes the following elements. First is organizational and management controls. This control includes the separation of functions and policies and procedures relate to the control function. Second is control of application system development and maintenance. This control serves to obtain assurance that electronic data processing systems have been developed and maintained efficiently and are authorized. Third is control of system operations. The system is used only for things that have been authorized. Access to computer operations is only permitted to those who have been authorized. The programs used are also only those that have authorization. Processing errors can be detected and corrected. Fourth is control of system software. Serves to ensure that system software is owned and developed efficiently and authorized. Fifth is control over data entry and programs. The authorization structure is clearly defined for transactions. 100 access to data and programs is limited to those who have authorizations. And six is security controls for electronic data processing. Safeguarding other electronic data processing related to the PDE is concerned. For example, the use of backups in a separate place, recovery procedures, or processing facilities outside the company in the event of a disaster.
Okay, next slide is talk about application control. Application control is control related to certain application or software related to certain jobs carried out in data processing. All controls will be placed in each system or application and can be manual controls or programmed into the system itself. Application control is the scope of general control, so that if there is a weakness in general control, it can have an impact on various types of applications that have been designed in a company. Application control aims to provide assurance that recording, classifying, and summarizing valid transactions as well as updating master files will produce accurate, complete, and timely information. The purpose of this application control is to gain confidence first that each transaction has been processed completely and is only processed once. Second, that each transaction data contains complete and accurate information. Third, that every transaction processing is carried out correctly and precisely. Fourth, that the result of processing are used according to the intended purpose. And last, that existing application and continue to function. Okay, next let us talk about application control. There are three parts of application control. There are input control, process control, and output control. The first one is input control. Why is input control needed? Because input is one of the most crucial stage in a computerized system and contains risk. The risk phase, for example, are the transaction data written by the transaction actor is incorrect. Deliberate filling errors are blamed. The writing is not clear, so that it can be read incorrectly by other people. For example, officers who have to enter data into the computer, especially if what is processed is not in original document but a copy. Second one is process control. Process control are internal controls to detect whether data, especially data that is actually valid, becomes an error due to process errors. The biggest possibility of causing an error is a program logic error, wrong formula, wrong program sequence, incompatibility between subsystem or other technical errors. And the last one is output control. Output control are internal controls to detect whether the information present is inaccurate, incomplete, the data is not up to date, or is distributed to authorized people. Possible risks faced related to output are as mentioned above, report inaccurate, incomplete, letter data is not up to date, metadata items are irrelevant, yes, read by an authorized patient. In a system that are more open, using public communication network, the potential for access by hacker, crackers, or other authorized people becomes higher. Okay, next is input control, which is commonly implemented in software. The first one is access restriction. Authorization limit people who can access data or access certain application. This authorization can be implemented through our use of a login name and password. Second is approval. Transactions can be processed further after approval from the authorized party. The next is document marking. Marks documents that have been input so that there is no double input of the same document. Next is format checking. Ensures that users input data according to the correct data type. And the next is checking user completeness in inputting data. For example, for every new consumer that there must be an address and telephone number. Therefore, if the user does not fill in the address and telephone numbers fields, the new user addition cannot be saved. Next is test reasonable. This means that the correctness of the data entered is compared with a reasonable value. The last one is validity check, a useful check to ensure that the user's inputs valid data. Valid in the sense that it matches the data source in the master file. System designer can use these boxes to force use to choose from available alternative.
Okay, for the next material is about control of other computer system. In this material, I will present about the four principles of system reliability. The first is availability. The next is develop a security plan. Next, maintainability and integrity. For the first is availability. There are consists about two important point. The first is preventive maintenance. Consists of stable power supply system, fault tolerance limit, disaster, and the second point is disaster recovery plan. There consists about minimize disruption, damage and loss, provide alternative ways of processing information, continue normal operation, guarantee of data and program files, electronic safeguard, computer and telecommunication backup, and the complete documentation. The second principle of system reliability is develop a security plan. There are consists about 4 points. The first is separation of data in system function. There are consists about in highly integrated information system, processor that were previously performed by several people are now combined. Next, anyone who has unrestricted access to program computer, and data can have the opportunity of commit crimes and hide fraud. Nextnya, in order to combat this threat, organization must implement appropriate control procedures. Next, authority and responsibility should be clearly divided among effective separation of data in information system function. For the second point is logical access control. This is consists about users should be permitted to only access data that is authorized for them, and they should only do suspecting faction authorized on them. For the third point is PC and client or server network protection. There are consists about train user on PC relate control and their importance, restrict access by using a lock and a PC, and if possible, create policy and procedure. Pieces that are easy to carry should not be stored in the car. Store sensitive data in as secure an environment as possible. Back up your hard drive regularly, encrypt or protect files with a password, and use layered password control to limit employee access to inappropriate data. And the last point is internet and e-commerce control. It consists about several activities control can be used to secure internet activities. Another control by installing firewalls, hardware, and software that control communication between the company internal network. Okay, for the last two of principles of system reliability is maintainability and integrity. For the maintainability, we have two categories of control. Health ensure system maintainability is one, project development and acoustic control, such as strategy master plan, project counter, and the other. The second is change management control, such as period review of all systems to determine request change, assessment of the impact of desired change to system objective, policy, and reliability standard. And for the integrity, we have 2 points. First is general control to ensure that the computer-based control and for environment of the organism is stable and well managed. The second is application control are to project, detect, and correct error in transaction as they flow through to various stage within data processing program. This is all of my material. Next will be present of my team.
Okay, this is time for me. I want to describe the scope of system documentation. System documentation is a collection of written information that present detail about a system or application. The scope of system documentation includes several aspects that are crucial to ensure a comprehensive understanding of the documented system. Okay, the next there is types of documentation. The first is literary documentation. Literary documentation encompasses the field of libraries. This documentation involves the collection of books, magazines, newspapers, brochures, and other library materials organized according to a specific system, making it easier for visitors to find and access the desired materials. And the second is corporate documentation. Corporate documentation covers the file of museums. This documentation involves the search and collection of unsigned writings, fossils, statues, and unsigned artifacts organized based on a specific system. And the last is private documentation. Private documentation includes the part of archiving. This documentation involves the collection of documents, archive, or other correspondence that is usable and stored according to a specific system, ensuring easy retrieval when needed. Okay, here are some elements included in the scope of system documentation. The first is documentation purpose. Explain why documentation is created. Is it to support the development, maintenance, or use of a specific system? The second is documentation audience identifies who will be the reader or user of the documentation. Is it for developer, system administration? The third is general system description. General system description presents an overview of the system, including in objectives, main function, and underlying key concept. The fourth is system architecture. System architecture describes the overall structure of the system, including main components, relationship between components, and the general function. The fifth is system requirement. Documents function and non-functional system requirements covering business needs, security, and performance. The sixth is system design. System design present detail about the system design, including flow diagrams, class diagram, and other diagrams that illustrate the structure and interaction of components. The seventh is, if relevant, this document should include clear user instruction and guides on how to use the system. This is user guide. And the eighth is, if the documentation is intended for a development team, it includes technical information such as naming convention, coding guidelines, and testing instructions. The next is maintenance and administration. Provides information on routine maintenance administration and troubleshooting action for the system. Next is record every change that occurs in the system and documentation to ensure that the presented information remain accurate. This is the name is change log. And the next is diagram and chart. Diagram and chart uses diagram and chart to visual information such as flow of chart, class diagrams, and other graphics that support the understanding of system concept. And the last is reference and additional research. Includes reference to documentation or additional research that can help user or developer obtain more information. Okay, in disclosing the scope of system documentation, each element plays a crucial role in presenting comprehensive and easily understandable information. The goal is to support effective development, maintenance, and use of the system. Thank you.